for joining us on The Skeptic Psychic, where we delve into ancient societies, the ghosts, the paranormal, UFOs, all looking at it from the perspective of the true believer and from the skeptic perspective. Joining me, my partner, my co-host, my sibling, Kimber Rodriguez. Myself, I am Richard Gregg. And again, let's look into being the skeptic psychic.
Hello. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing fine. And I see nobody has come in yet, but we love you. Come on in. Take your shoes off. Set a spell. And hi, I'll be watching as long as I can, but I'm whooped. Jake works at the 2:30 a.m., so I'm at night feedings. Need to sleep. Autumn.
Oh, well, we're glad you're here while you can be, Autumn. Welcome and welcome everybody. I know it's been kind of chaotic the past this past week, I should say.
It's the new year.
Yes, our psychic did have some technical difficulties and wasn't able to get in with us on Tuesday. So she will be joining us this Tuesday. So tonight we're going to be talking about one of my favorite legends in American history, the lost colony of Roanoke. Um,
Not to be confused with the town Roanoke, Virginia, but this was the previous Roanoke.
yes, I actually have a friend who lives in North Carolina, and she's very touchy about that. So, yeah.
What is it? Roanoke, Virginia, or Roanoke?
Roanoke, Virginia. Hey,
Okay.
Raven, glad you joined us. Yes, she was like, it is not in Virginia, it is in North Carolina. People are always getting that wrong, and us North Carolinians are very touchy about it. I was like, okay.
That's what I was
But we
saying. It's basically, Roanoke was in North Carolina, and Roanoke, Virginia, was in Virginia.
um but we do ask that if you are watching us on YouTube that you like and subscribe and hit the notifications so you know when we are live or when we post other videos. And if you're if you're listening to the replay of this on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we do ask that you rate and review us. And what kind of ratings do we like?
We like uno, dos, one, two, three, cuatro, cinco.
One sec, I have lost sound.
You love sound. I can hear you just fine.
Okay, sorry, I lost sound there for a moment. What was that again? How many stars do we like?
Uno, dos, one, two, three, cuatro, cinco. 5 stars.
Yes, we do like 5 stars, but we'll take whatever you give us. And we do ask if you leave stars that you leave us a review as well, and we'll read the review online. And before we get into tonight's topic, what's new with you this week? Anything exciting happen?
Let's see. We are doing pretty well. Nothing really exciting happens as well. Could have been better, could have been worse, but some things never change around here.
I know what you mean there. I I kind of quit my job and now I'm going through that like panic mode, like, oh my gosh, did I make the biggest mistake I could?
Hmm.
But I will just leave it up into God's hands and we'll just go from here. I mean, I don't know what else to do, but it is what it is. So I'm going to try to focus more on my design business and see if I can get that going. Marshall Tucker from Marshall Tucker Band. Let me look
Marshall
into
Tucker
that.
died.
Go down the frame.
Let's see.
I know.
Yes. Yes, Marshall Tucker, namesake of the iconic Southern rock band, has died.
And also,
Oh,
let me see.
so sorry to hear that.
Was it Nash? No, it was Crosby.
Oh,
Crosby,
really?
Stills, Nash, and Young died this week as well.
Oh, goodness. It's just, yeah, we've been losing a lot of good ones lately. But I mean, if you think about it, they're kind of up there in age. So, I mean, they're, unfortunately, we don't live forever as much as I wish we could.
Well, according to this, he
So,
was 99.
wow. On a happier note, Buzz Aldrin, the famous astronaut, just got married at the age of 93 to the love of his life.
Ah,
So that's on a happier note.
yes.
Excuse me, I'm still trying to get over this cough. So, should we go ahead and get into tonight's topic?
Sure, we can go ahead and talk about the original colony of Roanoke in North Carolina. Because we're going to Carolina in our minds.
Yes. Raymond says they did a season based on the lost city of Roanoke on American Horror Story. They did it spoofing the haunting shows that were on Discovery Shore. Ooh, I gotta check that one out. Autumn says she refuses to wait 93 years to get married. I'm definitely there with you, Autumn.
Mhm.
But
Oh, you're
yes,
already married to the love of your life.
yes, I am. Yes, I was talking to him yesterday. I was like, that's the only thing that's gone right so far in my life. But I digress. Yes, we're going to be talking about Roanoke and the Lost Colony, which is, as I mentioned before, one of my ultimate favorite tales from American history. And so, yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and discuss the lost colony of Roanoke.
Dun dun
It is
dun.
one of the oldest mysteries in American history. The colony was first founded in 1585 on Roanoke Island, and which is now in Dare County, North Carolina. The population as the first settlement was about 108 men. The settlement experienced starvation, disease, and natives that were mistrusting of the new people. The men were not acknowledged about being frontiersmen or familiar with new land, flora, and fauna. Governor Ralph Lane was the only man that had some skill with building a working settlement. When it became clear that the supply ships were needed, the population of men voted that Governor Ralph go onto a ship to England to bring back supplies. Roanoke was left without any leader or guidance. Ralph, you could have left somebody in charge.
Right?
Yes.
Well, about that time, England and Spain went into a war, and this was a not only religious war but a political one that same year. Queen Elizabeth I forbid any English ships from leaving the ports of England during this time. So good old Ralph was stuck in England for 2 years waiting to get back to Roanoke. Now, in 1587, John White was directed by Sir
Sir
Walter,
Walter Riley.
uh, yes, to go create the city sick of Raleigh between 116 and 120 men. Sorry,
121.
121 men. Sorry.
Exactly.
Um, Now, this included men, women, and children, and they were supposed to be going to Chesapeake Bay. However, the ship landed at Roanoke, and after a wait in order to travel to Chesapeake, the pilot of the ship claimed that he had ran out of time. So he left the passengers at Roanoke. It's like, guys, I'm running late. I got to get back. You guys just stay here. You'll be okay. That
Yeah,
kind of thing, I guess.
yeah. Just trust this guy. His name is Gilligan. He's a skipper too.
Yeah, we've got, for the entertainment, we've got Ginger over here, and
Right, right,
the
right.
professor, he will help
Help
you
you
out.
out. Yes,
He can build a radio out of a coconut. You're fine.
yes, just fine.
But I digress. Within 3 years of the settlement, the colonists had disappeared without a trace. There were no signs of struggle, and there were no mass graves found. The settlement did show signs of fortification of the outer wall. However, the houses were taken down or dismantled, and the word Croatoan was carved on a post within the settlement. This was 3 miles away, and on a tree they found letters CRO.
Crow or crawl.
Craw?
Croatoan. Yeah, maybe craw. But there is, of course, theories of what happened to the colonists that were left there by marooned, I should say, on that little tiny island. The colonists were possibly killed by Native Americans. Relations with the poor, with the settlers, and natives engaging in fighting and killing for years. The theory is plausible, however, no mass grave was ever found. Let's look at the
Yes.
colonists were killed by the Spaniards. The Anglo-Spanish War was from 1585 to 1604. Queen Elizabeth I and Philip II of Spain were at war. Sir Francis Drake plundered several Spanish colonies in Florida. The Spanish may have come up here for Florida, but if they did, why didn't they claim the settlements for Spain? Again, no mass graves were ever found in the area.
Well, they could have left with the Spaniards. I mean, that's possible. Spaniards could have come and say, "We're going to take this land." And they would be like, "No, this land ain't worth it. Yeah, yeah, let's just take off with you." I mean, that's
Uh,
possible.
well, we'll take you our prisoners. We'll make you.
Uh,
We'll make you all slaves to a great and glorious Spanish things.
but what's interesting is the houses were taken down in the process. I mean,
Hmm.
why would they need to take the houses down if the Spaniards had, came in and raided them and took them as their slaves? Why not like burn the village or, something like that instead of just neatly take the houses down? I mean, that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, you could also think the fact of they it could have been a cold winter and they took down just this is just another theory not here. They could have taken down the houses for uh because of the cold winters and
To
built a
use for
big
firewood?
bonfire, yeah, big firewood, and put themselves into a cave, and they made that's it. That's the ultimate theory. They went to the underworld to
There
protect
you go.
themselves from the cold winters, and they took down their houses to use as firewood for a big bonfire, and they discovered hidden caves, and they went down into the hidden caves, and they
And
discovered the underworld citizens and became one with them.
now that's a new theory I've never heard of.
Just in my head, that's my theory.
All
I'm
right.
sticking to it.
Okay. Well, there was also the theory that they were killed by disease, such as influenza, smallpox, measles, typhoid fever, malaria, and yellow fever have been identified as contributing to widespread death. Aliens, someone says. Uh,
But then again, no mass graves. Not even any graves were found around the area.
yes. There was also a deadly storm at Roanoke, and the colonists experienced a tropical storm in about 1588. This storm would have destroyed homes, killed people, and washed bodies away. But the settlement was intact, except for the dismantled houses. So again, the Wendigo. So again, we are back to the fact of no mass graves, and the houses weren't destroyed; they were just taken apart and dismantled.
Yes. I mean, we
So
can also look at the colonists were captured as slaves by the natives and became part of the tribe of Native Americans. A Jamestown settler named Francis Nelson drew a map called the Zingiger map in 1607. The map documents 4 men that came back from Roanoke Colony living with the Iroquois tribe. The word Croatoan is an evil incantation. An article in History.com suggests the word may have been Edgar Allan Poe's last word in his hospital bed. The bed that Ambrose Bierce had slept in before he disappeared forever had Croatoan carved in it. Bierce, which I would love to talk about one of these days, was also an author, researcher, and former government man uh, during after the Civil War. One of his most popular books is The Devil's Dictionary. Stagecoach robber Black Bart's prison cell was also have the word Croatoan scratched into the wall. He wasn't seen again after his release. Amelia Earhart also had the word Croatoan written in her journal before her disappearance. So we've got to find out what exactly is a Croatoan.
Autumn says, what if they died and wildlife took care of them? Pigs will eat bones. And of course, down here in the South, we do have wild boars. Only animals able to digest human hair are horses.
But how do you explain the broken down houses?
Well, okay, here's my theory playing into this. And this is something, one of the theories that I had, that they all died out and the wildlife took care of them. Let's go back to your theory of taking the houses down, burning them to keep warm in the winter, the bitter cold, running out of supplies, they all die, wildlife finishes them off. Bam! There you go. I solved the mystery.
3 years. It usually takes 5 to 10 years for that
For
sort
what?
of thing to happen. The 3 little boars and a big bag wolf.
There you go.
Yes. So that means we have to throw Doctor Who in
Well,
there too.
see, the thing is, they didn't come back for 3 years, but we don't know how long it actually took for these people to pass on. I mean, it could have been a few months. It could have been a few weeks. We don't know. We just know that they were gone for 3 years before they came back, but we don't know how long it took for these people to expire.
I still say they went into a cave and discovered the underground people, and the underground people led them into their civilization and interbred, and boom, that's why, think about it.
So your theory is still that they went down with the aliens. And
No,
then,
no, no, no,
okay.
no, 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 not aliens. I said the underground people.
Okay,
Aliens
well,
come from outer space. You don't believe in them.
no, because they also say that the aliens came here centuries ago and settled underground and under
Yes.
our oceans. So they're
Uh-huh.
already here,
Right.
but
But
they're
there's
still
also
aliens.
no, 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 no. There's also still underground people that have been there since the dawn of time.
Yes, but they came from
The
outer
reptiles.
space. Yes, they came from outer
No,
space.
they basically had become evolved from the ancient dinosaurs.
Okay. Well, either way, it could be possible that they were just beamed up by aliens and taken to another world.
Right.
I mean, you never know. They wanted to mutants. They wanted to, the aliens came. They wanted to study our culture, so they took the people of Roanoke up with them. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's the reason why we have lizard people running the countries now. Because the people of Roanoke, the ancestors and the generations who blended with the reptiles from down below, you know, brought them back up, and they're like, "Oh, we know everything because we've worked with the former reptiles, and we are reptiles, but we actually have human blood in us because we're the lost colony of Roanoke."
That makes perfect sense. That
Yeah.
was where the Illuminati started. I
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes. Now, the Croatoan curse word is what I found interesting. People throughout time, unrelated, use that word before disappearing.
They were cursed to disappear.
Right. I mean, we
Yes,
do.
that's from one of our viewers, a comment
Hmm.
they had. I'm sorry, I cut you off there. You were going to say we do have what?
We do have, a few, discussions about this. They were cursed to disappear. So
Yes. In sorry, tongue doesn't work. In 1912, a ship ran around Cape Hatteras, which is close to the settlement. The ship was abandoned, and the last page of the logbook had scribbled, dun dun dun, Croatoan. Now, this is some interesting information that was found through dig sites and satellites. The newest discovery was announced by the First Colony Foundation. The Durban based group says compelling evidence has been found that settlers from the colony lived at a site along Salmon Creek near the Chowan River in Bertie County, and this was for several years. The foundation calls the location Site Y. Foundation researchers used the ground penetrating radar and excavations.
based on their findings, the First Colony Foundation's principal investigator and vice president, Nicholas McKetty, tells the Coastal Review Online, it appears that a small number of colonists, perhaps an extended family and a few indentured servants, lived among Salmon Creek for a few years. Researchers also determined that what they uncovered was not the result of European trade with Native Americans or natives living with the colonists. Now we have to look at DNA in the 21st century. With the Berry family, remains the promising, although several distinct Berry lines have been identified to today. A descendant, uh, Jonas Squires, born in 1705 in Hyde County, matches a Toppenham at 37 marker and with 4 mutations.
Now, given that Jonas Squires is first mentioned owning a mill in Hyde County around 1728 and as a planter in 1738, it's very unlikely that this man originated in the impoverished native community. The gas scale line found on Ocracoke Island by 1787, but not earlier, matches a bright male at 37 markers with 3 mutations. Oh, we're getting into the mutations now.
Yep.
Now, researchers have used genealogy deeds and historical natives to compile 168 surnames that could be connected to settlers. It seems that the colony split into 2 or more groups and assimilated into a local native tribe.
Native
Now,
tribes, more
yes,
than one.
again, I do want to reiterate my friend that lives in North Carolina. She's not doesn't live too far from Roanoke Island. She was telling me that she's gone and they do like a little play there. They have a whole thing where they all dress in colonial outfits and they, kind of reenact the whole thing. And from what she was telling me, that for years after the lost colony, there were Native Americans with blue eyes and light hair. And so the theory in that area is that the tribes took these people in and they became one with the tribe and they, kind of procreated with the tribe, creating these Native Americans with the blonde hair and the blue eyes and the lighter skin. So that's another theory that I've always had on the issue that the Indians came, they saw these people struggling, they offered to help them out and took them with them. Now, question is, did they take them willingly or did they take them forcefully? But again, there was no damage. So I'm thinking they took them willingly in to help them out. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Seriously, on a serious note.
On a serious note, I think maybe during the time of the floods and the and all the illnesses, that they actually were kind of either I wouldn't say insulated into the to the to the tribes as being You know, may have been if they would have waited a couple of years, or I'd say 1603, 1600 when Jonestown was established, that they could have actually, uh, you know, I think to be honest, they could have breaking down the houses again. They could always, rebuild houses someplace else.
So you think they just left?
No, I think they left willingly.
Yeah. Shelley says, I've seen pictures of white women with tattoos on their faces from living within a tribe.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I want to point out just a little tidbit on that cursed word that everybody is so afraid of. Ethnologists and anthropologists believe that the word Croatoan may have been a combination of two Algonquin words, meaning talk town or council town. And this is referenced from David B. Quinn, The Roanoke Voyages, 1584 to 1590. So it's very possible that that quote unquote cursed word was just what the Indians referred to for that town, that they, were a council town or that they were a loud, noisy town, a talk town.
Hmm.
So maybe there's nothing really to fear in the word Croatoan. What do our listeners think? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts, Richard?
My thoughts could have been, we could have been talk. It was maybe like a place where they had council meetings, that sort of thing. Because of the talk town.
That makes sense. Well, we still have a little bit of time left. What else do we want to discuss? I mean,
Well, I remember when I was a kid, there was a supposedly a story about a little girl that was part of the Roanoke colony, and she grew up with the Native Americans, and basically had uh, she once they found her, they were asking do you want to go back? We get to be your family. She's like, no, this is my family now. So.
awesome. Someone says it's possible that new folks got on the tribal nerves. That's very possible.
Hmm.
Um, Another one says Mary Jemison was a Scottish Irish colonial tongue work colonial frontierswoman in Pennsylvania and New York who became known as the White Woman of Genesee. As a young girl, she was captured and adopted into the Seneca family, assimilated into their culture, marrying two native men in succession and having children with them. This may be the lady that you were talking about.
I'm not sure.
That's the new one on me. I've never heard that
Yeah.
story, but that's actually very interesting. So yeah, basically, like I said, my theories are with Autumn, either they were eaten or they left willingly with the Native Americans and became part of their tribe. Um, Maybe they were taken unwillingly, but again, there was no sign of assault, I should say. So there were several books about Mary Jemison. Excuse me. Someone says, I think if they were struggling bad enough, they may have been willing to go with the tribe just to survive. Autumn. I agree, Autumn. That's what I've always thought growing up. Um, Also, many people were adopted into tribes. At least that's how my great uncle described stories he was told as a child. Actually, that makes sense because we do have. I'm not sure if it's on my dad's side of the family, or it might have. I think it might have been on my mom's side of the family, where one of our ancestors was found under a rock on a stormy night, and they were adopted into the tribe, um, and raised by the tribe. I can't remember
Well,
which
our
settlement
great
they
great
were in.
grandfather, Thomas Lawson, was found underneath a chuck wagon.
There you go. That was on mom's side, right?
No, Pawpaw's. That was
Papa's?
Pawpaw's father's name was Thomas Lawson. Now, there is an interesting article right here that has actually was published back in 2002.
While you're looking that up, Shelly is here. Our, says, my great uncle was Hoopy Hopper. No joke, Cherokee. Awesome. Yes.
Yes.
That tribe, were they peaceful or were they warriors? That's a good question, Autumn. Was the tribe peaceful or warrior? I'm sorry, you said you found an article?
Yes. Basically, they say that they were take captured prisoners by the Native Americans and used as slaves for their silver mines.
So the Native Americans had silver mines?
Yep, not
That
big holes in the mountain type of silver mines, but they found little places where they would find silver.
Oh, okay, because I can't picture the Native Americans mining. I mean, it just seems out of character for them at that time. I mean, they were mostly oh, okay. Somebody says yes, they did mine silver. Interesting.
Hmm.
That is a very interesting. Says if they were warriors, there would have been more of a struggle. I agree. If they were warriors, there would be more sign of a struggle. Might have found some arrows, maybe some blood, um,
Hmm.
some form of struggle there. If they were peaceful, then they would have clothed and fed them. So who knows? Maybe there were some peaceful Indians that came across them and found them there, and said, "Hey, come with us. We'll take care of you." Different than the actual tribe that lived close by.
Yep.
East Coast Native tribes were not known for mining. Yeah, I would. That's what I was thinking. I think that would be more, further away than the East Coast. I think they were more into like the fishing and that sort of thing. Um,
Yeah, like I said, some of them, from what they're saying, is that some of them moved more closer to the shores, off the island, and waiting for the ships to arrive. Others moved more inland, uh, to find a better place. That's the reason why they probably built down the houses.
right. Well, so you think that they were like they knocked down the houses so that they would because they knew they were going to be moving on, and that's why they took the houses down?
Hmm.
I hmm, that doesn't make sense. Why not just leave them up? My question is though, when they say the houses were dismantled, do they mean like the wood was just like set there for it to just stay, or was it completely gone? Because like it would make sense if it was completely gone, like you said, that they used it to burn for firewood to keep alive. But if they just took it down, exactly as Autumn says, why wait? Why waste the energy to knock them down? Unless, like we were saying, if they needed it for firewood to stay warm, that would make sense to say, okay, well, we're freezing to death, but we got this home over here. Let's go ahead and use that so that way we can stay warm. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, they didn't. They just said the houses were disassembled. They didn't
okay.
say.
But again, why waste the energy to take the houses down if you're just going to leave the wood there?
Right.
See, they were farmers also. They just followed territory for weather or big game. Do we mean the Indians were farmers or the colonies?
No, the colonists were probably uh,
I think
first.
the Indians would be the ones because the Indians were oh, okay. I just got a message from the researcher on this one, and she
Mhm.
says that the houses were found at the site, so they left the wood there. Um, and Autumn says that one of the settlers could have thought, "Hey, in 200 years, let's make them wonder." I have an idea that
Mhm.
you think they would have thought that far ahead to just say, let's just leave it here and, make people wonder what happened to us. Kind of like the biggest prank of all time. That's it. We've
Mhm.
all been
What's been
punked.
done? Right. Like I said, they're all below the in the caves, living with the reptiles.
Yes. Um, Also, I just got message that the natives were violent in the Roanoke area. So it's unlikely that they would have just taken them in to help them out. Now, it is possible they could have taken them as slaves, but
Mhm.
again, there was no sign of struggle.
Right.
Which is interesting because, like I mentioned, the DNA shows that, um, there were light colored, light haired, light skinned, light eyes people in the tribes at that time being seen around the area. Um, she says that's why the second group wanted to go to Chesapeake Bay to avoid those Native Americans. But of course, that guy didn't have time, so he's like, I'm just, gonna leave you here. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Um, Shelly says, okay, we've got Shelly 1 and Shelly 2 now, so we're gonna
Now we
try
have
to.
Chelly and we have Shelly.
Okay, so Shelly says, I want to invent a time machine and go back and do a space graffiti. There you go. That's
Yep.
how the word Croatoan got there.
Yep.
It was space graffiti. Love it, Shelly. So, but so is the tribe still around? I wonder if the elders passed down a story. Um, oh, there you go, T Shell. There we go. We'll call her T Shell and Shelly. So we have them. Uh,
It's not T shell. It's the shell.
okay, to Shell. I apologize. Please forgive me. I love you. Sorry. Tishelle is a very good friend of ours from way back. Um, I'm pretty sure there are some of the tribes still around. It was, I think he said the Iroquois tribe.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm pretty sure that, there are still members of that tribe around in the area. And I'm sure, but that's the one thing about, the tribes is they're very, they don't like to talk with people that are out of the area, if that makes sense. They don't like to share their stories with the white man, so to speak. They're very hush hush in their culture a lot of times and keep things to themselves, I would think. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Okay. Shelley also says that the natives were friendlier in the Chesapeake Bay area, and the tribes used round poles for their building. Englishmen used square poles. Both were found in the tribe buildings after the settlers disappeared. So maybe even though they were hostile, maybe they did kind of take pity on them for a bit. It's like, these poor people, they're just withering away to nothing. And, they had the little Oliver Twist little boy there saying, please, sir, can I have some food? And so they felt guilty. And they're like, okay, let's take them with us. I
Yeah,
don't know. What do you think?
I think that's yeah. Basic, like I said, basically they got uh they went and the natives said, oh, you guys. We can kill you, or we can make you slaves, or we can lead you to the dinosaurs down there in the caves, and they can protect you from the other violent guys. Go. So, what's your choice? Us,
Yes. Yes.
or the
Autumn says
reptiles down below?
Autumn says that's where the phrase started, bless their little hearts.
Yeah.
It's like the Indians are ready, they're gonna come. Okay, we're gonna guys, we're gonna invade this colony, we're gonna take the women, we're gonna kill the men, we're gonna, let's go. And then they get there and they see everybody all shriveled up and these little boys, please, could I have some food? And they're like, oh man, we can't kill them.
Yep.
Dude, we can't do this. We got to take them with us. So, the Indians had that moment in the field. So they're like, let's just come on, let's go. Pack up your belongings. Just leave your houses there. Yeah,
Right.
okay, come on. And took them with them. Yes,
Yeah.
there are some living Native Americans with the same last names as the settlers. So it does make sense that they just went off with the Indians and assimilated into their tribes and learned their ways
They
and the
became
little
like the Borg,
they were assimilated.
assimilated.
Yes. So that's pretty much all we have this week for the Lost Colony of Roanoke. Again, like I said, this is one of my favorite mysteries and legends in American history. Some of the other legends I would love to talk about on the show if people are interested would be like, the curse of the presidents, where the Native American tribe put the curse on the president and he died, and then after that, after so many presidents, they would die. And then supposedly Reagan broke the curse when he didn't die. But I
Maybe
would
I
love
don't
to go
know.
more into that because that's another story that it says that the tribes also carry stories of the English descendants.
Hmm.
But I would love to do that curse as well of the presidents. Um, Again, if any of our listeners have any ideas for any topics or any thing you would like to share, if you'd like to be on a guest on our show and share your stories, more than welcome. Um, you can email us at info@skepticpsychic.com. Um, and or we also invite everyone to join if you're not a member of our Facebook group, Skeptic Psychic. We have a lot of fun there, and it's a safe place where you can share your stories and thoughts and opinions without, any kind of rudeness. That's the only thing we ask is that you respect everyone. Um,
And we do love everybody.
yes. If you're watching us on Facebook, again, I'm sorry, not Facebook, YouTube. If
Yes.
you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notifications. And if you're listening to a replay on our podcast through Spotify or Apple, we ask that you rate and review us. And once again, for the people who weren't listening before, how many stars do we like?
We like uno, dos, un, deux, trois, cuatro, cinco.
Yes. Your multi lingual answer there. We do like 5 stars, but we'll take whatever you can give us. We do also have some ideas for a Patreon coming up. Again, if there's anything that you would like for us to offer through a Patreon, let us know through our email. Is there anything I forgot?
Mm, well, let's see. I don't know. I don't. Anybody think? Anybody know what we forgot?
We do ask that you join us on Tuesday at same time. God willing, everything will go well. No more technical difficulties. We will finally have our psychic here, Kimberly Loveridge. and she'll do our predictions for the year. So if you have any questions that you want to know about for the new year, let us know either in the group or by email, and she will answer those. Also, if you have any questions during the show, feel free to ask, and she can answer any questions you might have at that time. Um, Anything else?
Mm, we love you.
Yes, we do love all of our listeners and our viewers, and we're so glad that you
We're also
join us
on
each
Twitch
week.
as well.
Yes, we are also on Twitch, um, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube.
We've got our own website. We've got our own. We actually do have a web page, which you can contact us at info@skepticpsychic.com.
Yes, and you can check out our website, skepticpsychic.com. And we do have a small photo gallery there. We, you know, are looking to add more photos.
Yep.
Uh, Raymond says, didn't she know the difficulties were coming? Oh, goodness. Well, they say psychics are really great at, you can't always see as a psychic your own future, if that makes sense. But it's funny that you say that because I remember we had a hurricane come through a few years ago, and there was a psychic down the road from where I lived, and they had this big sign, letting people know that psychic readings and this and that. And the hurricane took out that sign. Big tree limb flew in, knocked the sign down. And I remember Rick making that same comment about, didn't they see that coming?
Mm-hmm.
And what is that joke that you used to say about the psychic?
Which one?
The Madam somebody knows all, sees all.
Oh, knock. Who is it?
Yes. So, unfortunately, being psychic is not always, 100% accurate.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Whew, that was a loud one.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So we look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday of this week. So that way we can, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask the psychic, you can reach us at info@skepticpsychic.com and visit our website, Skeptic Psychic.
Yes. Autumn says, why don't psychics win the lottery? That goes into the whole personal gain thing, which you're not supposed to do. Also, I think, as I said, it goes back to the whole not always being right. And you don't usually see things for yourself. I mean, you might see things for others, but yeah, I think with the whole personal gain thing, that reminds me of my favorite joke. What do you call a little person who can see the future and is running from the police?
Don't know.
A small medium at large.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, I wish everybody a wonderful night. And thank you again for joining us. We always love having you here. And we will see you this this Tuesday at the same time. That's 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, and 6:30 Pacific. And we will have Kimberly Leverage here to give us some predictions for the new year. And we wish you all. Yes. Thank you so much for reminding me, Autumn. That's what I was forgetting. I knew I was forgetting something. I want to thank Shelley Priest for doing our research this week. She did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for taking the time and the effort. We love
We do
you.
appreciate it.
Yes. And I will be updating our our end cap pretty soon here. to update that we do have 2 new researchers for us, Shelley and Autumn Priest, and we appreciate everything that they do for us. And this week, Shelley took the reins and she did a wonderful job. We're very grateful and thank you.
And we love you. And as I like to always say, unpleasant nightmares.
Sweet dreams, everybody, and have a great night. Take care. Bye bye.